And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Pong Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, welcome and welcome to the Weighing In podcast. I have my hat on backward because I have had head and I've been wearing this sucker all day. I'm going to continue to wear it because it says, stay salty, my friends. That is for LMNT, which is a fantastic drink. We'll get to that. But I want to thank my man Josh for jumping on. It is my anniversary tomorrow, and I almost got my ass in big trouble. So Josh is saving me right now. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate it. But we did have a UFC from Macau. I've been to Macau. You've been to Macau?
No, I have not been to Macau.
You've been to what?
I've been to Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen.
Yeah, you've been all over China.
Yeah, I've been all over. Yeah, Guangzhou. I spent a lot of time in Guangzhou. I was there for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jiangmen, Guangzhou, Shenzhen.
I've never been to Jiangmen. What was that?
Jiangmen.
Jiangmen, never been there.
Yeah, I've been there. It's right outside of Guangzhou.
Okay.
And then I've been to Beijing for one. I was in the very first show they did in Asia. One was in Beijing, right next to the Bird's Nest where they had the Olympics.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We stayed right across the street from that. It was awesome, man. I had a great time. It was freaking freezing. It was in December. It was so
It's
cold.
cold.
Like, this is horrible. But it was pretty historic. It was nice. It was nice. There's a lot to talk about, man. Fights are over there in Macau. It's basically like a mini Vegas, but without as many people.
Yeah, but boy, I'll tell you what, and those casinos, they're huge.
You know what's
Huge.
weird? John, when I was there in not in Macau, but in China, they have full on built cities. I thought it was like a joke when people are saying like, yeah, they build cities and like no one lives there. No, that's true.
No, kind
They
of.
build these huge cities.
Yeah.
Nobody lives in them.
I don't know if nobody lives in them, but you don't see a lot of people out on the streets.
No, John, like really no one lives in them. Like some of the sky rises were like 30 floors high. Nobody lived in them. The bottoms were vacant. We were in this little community where we actually did a lot of our filming because I was there for a movie. All the filming was done in this little city because there was no one there. They knew that we could drive through the cities, racing through it, like breaking windows, throwing people through. Like it was all state.
Who's fixing the windows?
It almost felt like it was Hollywood. I felt like it was like a city created.
Are you sure you didn't go through some gates that said Universal Studios?
No, not there. Not who knows? They've been known to replicate some stuff. So it was nice there though. It was like I had a good time. I spent probably a total a little over 6 months there, doing 2 movies there, 3 months at a time. It was a little rough in the beginning because the first time I went, I was there when my son was just born. And so my wife's like, cool, you're going to leave me at home? I'm like, yeah, you're on maternity leave, so you're all good. What am I going to do? Breastfeed? I can't do it. So you're good. What am I going to do? Like, at that point, right, your kid wants nothing to do with the male in the house. He's just like, that's it. He just wants the boob, which I don't blame him. That's all he wants.
That just shows he's an intelligent human being.
Intelligent young man. Got it from his father.
Right.
Hey guys, I want to first before we carry on, I want to remind you guys that this show is brought to you by BetUS. And thank you guys so much for continuing to listen to us. And BetUS has the best betting odds on the market. Go to YouTube 150. YouTube 150 is the promo code. If you guys are feeling lucky anytime we give you guys some betting advice, check out YouTube 150 at BetUS. Also, LMNT, John, show them the can, buddy. Show them the can. LMNT.
Oh.
Yes,
boom,
my friends.
right there.
Use
Stay
the link
salty.
down below in the descriptions, and they will send you a bonus package with every purchase you guys use through our link every single time. Not just the first time, not the second time, not the third time. Every single time you purchase through that link in our descriptions. And I've had a lot of people actually hitting me up that are listeners of our show. You know, Amanda, our listener, and some other people that listen to our show as well. Some longtime fans. They have reached out and been like, hey, man, they're actually posting about it on Instagram. And they love the product. And I'm glad. It's not just us loving the product. Like other people are loving it. It's a fantastic product, man. I really do it. No sugar at all like other companies have. And stay salty, my friend. And I want to also continue this partnership that we have with OnlyFans. Join us over there for more content, more posts, more content, more stuff available over there on OnlyFans. It is free to subscribe to us over there. So please join us over there. I had a good day today, man. So Kenan had some soccer. I played a little bit of a golf tournament with some people in the neighborhood.
Scrambles?
Had to drive some parents home that had a little bit too much to drink at the golf
tournament. Too much?
Yeah. So, but it was good. It was good. It was only dads in the community that were part of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the dads were got a little tipsy, so I had to make sure we got them home safely. I don't know who they were either, because it's the first time I ever met them. But when you take a look around the bar and you realize that there's like you and like 6 other guys, and 3 of us came together and we're like more of the sober ones, and the other 3 drove themselves here, and we're like, yeah, maybe we should take you guys home. So we all ended up having to drive some of the other guys home. But hey, as long as everyone got home safe, that's the best thing.
That's the best part of like Uber now and
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah, but we're
don't take
like,
a chance.
I know, but John, I live in the country now, and it'll take you 30 minutes to get an Uber.
Really?
Yeah. I'm up north. I'm not in the Dallas area. I'm 40 minutes north of Dallas. So,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
are you like Denton area?
I'm in Denton's close to me. Yes, it's
okay.
Actually I'm a little bit more east of Denton.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly east north of Denton. Like not much though. Yep, I'm exactly right there. Yep, farmland, baby. You know what? But yeah, you know it's the.
I think I understand the farmland part.
The farmland part, yeah. So when you call an Uber, man, like it could be 5 minutes, it could be 40. You just don't know. You don't know who's up.
I don't think there is Uber where I'm at.
Oh, really?
Hell no.
No? Oh man.
No.
You get to drive out to a main road and get an Uber.
You'd have to go out to like Knoxville or Chattanooga to get an Uber.
I saw, who was it? Patrick Bet David. He was in the back of an Uber and he's like, hey, he was talking to this kid that drives Uber. The kid drives, he's making, I want to say he's a college student on his downtime.
Yeah.
He's making $200,000 a year driving Uber.
What?
Yep.
How much is he driving?
I mean, he must be driving quite a bit, but he rents a car for $800. He pays, what is it? He's like, if I rent the car out early enough, like if I rent it for next month, he's like, I pay $800 for the month to rent it, which is like a car payment, which is cool. But he's like, I rent it and I drive it for the month. He's like, and that's $800 a month. He's like, and that's off the top. He's like, I have my own separate insurance for it. So it puts it up to about $1,200. He's like, $1,200 a month. He's like, and the rest of it is all profit. He's like, I make about $200,000 a year driving for Uber. I was like, really? Wow. Interesting. Makes sense. I mean, it depends on how much you work.
That is. It's all about how much you work and how you interact with people. Because it seems to me if you're like friendly, to have some bit of conversation, to have water for people, they're going to give you a tip. You're going to get extra.
You know what you get? You know when you get tips from me?
When's that?
Is like you said, when you have water in the back. But number one thing, if your car is clean.
Yeah. As long as you're clean and you're
good. I'm like,
you're nice.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, it's like, I don't need to have conversation. I actually kind of prefer when I get in the car, especially at 5 a.m. to go to the airport. I'm like, don't talk to me. I just want to put my headset on. I just want to go to sleep. You just get me there. Right. And there's times I want conversation, but then you don't need to give it to me. It's not your job to give me conversation. But if your car smells good and it's clean in the back and I can just hop in, you're punctual, whatever it is, and you're straight, I'm 100% giving you a tip. Normally a fat tip. And what I mean by fat is like whatever it is, you know, like if it's going to be a $70 trip, I'm giving you $25 probably 20 bucks, somewhere in there. Just to feel good. Like it just feels good to be in a good car that's clean, feel safe, you know, just get my ass home. Most of the time, John, we're leaving at 3 a.m. So anyone that gets me home safe and I'm just like, hey, this is the house that I'm supposed to be going to. Cool.
Doing good.
This is where I'm at.
That's it.
All right. Well, hey, we got a lot to talk about, not just outside the fights. We'll talk about the fights in Macau, but let's go ahead and jump right into the main event there, John. What you got?
Yeah, we had UFC from Macau. It was actually, I thought it was a really good card. A lot of really good competitive fights, some big knockouts, some scary ones, I guess, in the early part. But started off with, Petr Yan going up against Deiveson Figueiredo. I thought this was going to be a fight. I thought that Yan had the advantage. I, put it out there that, he's the guy looking to come back. Devison's looking to continue on with that 3-fight win streak in the bantamweights, proving that, he deserves a shot. I really enjoyed the fight. It had its ebbs and flows, and you could see where the momentum shifted back and forth at times. Petr Yan, for the most part, he just performed very well. He was smart. He was tactically, he didn't take big chances. He didn't make big mistakes. And that's the reason why he got the win against Devison. He was just the better fighter. In there, we had more power. He had Figueiredo at certain points confused on what to do. And when you can get your opponent in that position where they're a little bit confused, it's just going to make you better as far as what you're doing. And he fought probably the best fight I've seen him fight since he was champion.
Yeah.
Really. And it was impressive. He's coming off an injury, and the thing is, he's not old. He's
even though he looks like he's fucking 50.
Oh yeah, he does. He looks, but I mean, Devison Figueiredo is older than Petr Yan, but
6 years older, John.
And you look at that and you go, it's very difficult to be the champion and then lose it. He got the interim, but that didn't work out as far as he dropped the rematch to Aljamain. But it's very difficult to come back and be that champion again. He's got a good shot because he can still fight, man. He's good.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go back on. Let me see. Let me pull this up real quick. We'll look at the 135-pound division. He's ranked number 3. He's got Umar in front of him. And let's be honest, Umar's only had the one shot against Corey Sandhagen that really catapulted him above Petr Yan. Sure. But let's be honest, people don't want to fight Umar, just like they didn't want to fight Habib, just like they didn't want to fight Islam, just like they don't want to fight the guys out of that gym because they're like, look, there's a good chance I'm going to lose. I don't want to set myself back. So if I avoid them, and then when he gets to the title, I'll fight him for the title.
Sure.
Which never understood that. Just fight them. Like, if you can't beat him then, like, what makes you think you're going to beat him later when they're the champ? The better time to try to fight these fighters is when they're on their way up.
Yes.
When they really haven't found.
That's when they're young and they haven't figured out all the answers.
Exactly. Petr Yan, though, is fantastic. He does everything. I thought in this fight, I don't think he needed to take chances. I thought the opportunities were given to him because Figgy is someone that he swings wild. He's very reckless. He's loopy punches. He's very fast, though. For 37 years old, he is very fast.
But all those loopy punches, you saw all those uppercuts.
Yes,
that Yan hit him with, and that was all based upon countering what Figueiredo was doing. And you looked, and you went, beautifully done. But I would have thought Figueiredo would have figured it out a little bit quicker, but I can't make that same mistake, and he kept making it.
Well, John, it's hard. You can't make that change. Like, this is years of Figueiredo being who he is, to now like trying to make that change of tightening everything up inside a 5-round fight. It's just not going to happen. Then Petr Yan is that person who's always fought tight with his boxing, beautiful uppercuts, good left hooks, does really good job of switching stances, does a good job of fighting from both directions. But man, his uppercuts were on point.
Ooh.
Those landed clean,
nasty
left hooks.
And boy,
phenomenal.
You have got to. Figueiredo's got a fucking beard, man, because he got hit with some bombs. It was funny because at the beginning of the fight, when he got into the clinch and he did the inside trip to take Petr Yan, first thing out of my mouth, Henry Cejudo.
Yeah,
I just think it looked like it. Look at Henry Cejudo had the most beautiful inside trip. If he got into a body lock, you knew, and he would hit it, and he would hit it just constantly. And as soon as he hit that, I went, well, that's what training with Henry Cejudo will do, because you just look like him. That was beautifully done.
No, I thought that Figgy had some good moments. I also thought that Figgy got better as the fight went on. Rounds 4 and 5
did. I thought, you know what? If you're going to give one round to Figgy, 4th round, and he actually put him down. He wasn't hurt, but he put him down.
Yeah.
So that was a round that I was like, man, I actually thought in the 3rd, I looked at it and said, Petr's starting to run away with it.
That's what I thought too. I'm glad you said that.
4th round, here comes Figueiredo, and he was fighting better. And I'm like, damn. And that was the round. I actually had it 49-46. They gave it 50-45. I understand. I gave Devison that round based upon he put him down with a shot. He hit him with. It was close in volume. He hit him with the better power shot. I give it to Figueiredo, but great fight.
I probably would have done the same.
Yeah.
I probably would have done the same. I think I did probably give Figgy the 4th round. It was just, I felt like he was starting to come back a little bit. And then even the 5th was not a far-fetched round. I knew that I gave it to Yan.
No, Yan definitely took it.
Yeah, he won that round. But I'm saying, though, that like Figgy had moments in that round, though, too, that like, wow, you hit him with some clean, hard shots. That's the thing with Figgy. When he hits you, he lands and you can see it has an effect on you. It makes you step backwards. Those are shots that he throws everything behind, but that's also why he gets tired. And so rounds 1, 2, and 3, he looked like he was getting tired. And all of a sudden, round 4, he caught a second wind.
Yes.
He came out. It seemed like a different fighter. I was like, who's this guy? Where's this guy been for 3 rounds? And but it was honestly a way more contested fight than I thought. I thought Jan, after stuffing a takedown or 2, was going to start to run away with it. Yeah. And it looked like it was going to happen that way. And then round 4 happened. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a better fight. And then the fifth round was there too. And I was like, Figgy's having some moments, but obviously gave the round to Jan. But overall, I thought it was a very good fight. The whole fight was good. And there was tons of tools that were utilized. The oblique kick, the outside trip, that little, I don't know what they call it. It's Japanese term for, I don't know, however they do the trip, the foot sweep that Jan does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Anyways, I heard Laura Senko try to say,
they were talking to Sotogari.
Yeah, something like that.
No,
I was like, okay.
That's a major reaping throw. But Devinson was trying to leap into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Jan was able to hit it, I think, twice in the fight, one and a half times. Yeah. But I thought overall it was a fantastic fight. For a main event, they didn't look like they slowed down. Round 3, it looked like Jan was running away with it. Round 4 and 5 were good rounds, action packed. If I'm a UFC, I'm thinking, okay, for a main event, great job. You guys the performance. I'm looking at this status though. You got Peter Yan, you got Sean O'Malley at 1, Umar at number 2, Peter at number 3, and then Corey Sandhagen at number 4. You've got a good mix of fighters in there, right? You've got a good mix of fighters, but Yan, obviously Umar's fighting next for the title. I mean, why don't we see a rematch with O'Malley and Peter Yan? If anyone deserves a rematch.
Oh yeah, especially after that fight. There's still a lot of people that consider that Peter Yan should have won it. A lot thinking, nope, O'Malley definitely won it. So it was a good fight, making a 5-rounder though.
Yes, and I also don't think. I think when we look back at that fight, I thought that Peter Yan won the fight. I think you did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you? Okay. As I recall, I thought you did too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to speak for you though.
But it was close. It was one of those ones. It's like, no, I can understand it.
Got it. But there's some good fights in there. So Figgy will probably stay around, but I wouldn't mind seeing Figgy and Marlon Vera or Figgy and Corey Sandhagen.
No, Figgy already fought Marlon Vera.
Oh,
he beat him.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Figgy and Corey would be a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he's in that position where he's skilled enough. He's got enough, he's physical strength. He's actually not that, as far as he came from flyweight, but he's not small as far as length. He's got, some length in his arm stuff. I think he matches up. Obviously, no one's going to match up with O'Malley and Sandhagen when it comes to bantamweight and their length. But with everybody else, you're looking at, even with Petr Yan. Petr Yan fought, the champ in Merab. He didn't do too well. Merab was able to take him down and control him a lot of the fights. He's got to figure out a way to make that not happen if he ever gets a shot at him again. Then you've got Umar. Well, if Umar goes in there and beats Merab, maybe if you're Petr, you don't have to fight Merab, but now you got another problem in the fact that you got a guy that can wrestle his ass off too and has good stand-up. He matches up very well with Yan.
Yeah, it's a different style of fight though.
Sure.
It's obviously a lot different style of fight. I think Umar poses some threats to Petr Yan that Merab obviously doesn't. There's more on the feet threats. But it's funny because I think Umar beats Merab, and I'm not speaking from a biased point of view. I just think stylistically the matchup is there, that the explosiveness, the way that Umar is taking this 100% serious, where there's just not – he doesn't take anything for granted. Like he knows that he knows that Merab just wants to wrestle. He's going to be focused strictly on the wrestling stuff and the takedowns. Focus on that. A lot of fighters will just have a tendency to, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to train the way I normally train. You've got to train specifically for somebody like a Merab. Yeah. If all you're going to do is wrestle me, I've got to stuff takedowns, make space, circle out, keep my back up the fence. You've got to do all those things nonstop for an 8 to 10 week camp. And that's what Umar will do. I think Petr Yan, I don't know if he learned from the first fight, but he's going to have to focus on, look, I'm going to stuff takedowns and box you. In that first fight, he didn't look like he did that. He wanted to, I'll be okay. That whole late start kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
because he always kind of gives the first round away. He
Yeah.
didn't in this one, but he was getting close to, but you can't just give rounds away, man.
Nope.
It's so difficult once you do, because now I gotta win everything.
No. Okay, let's go to co-main event.
I'll tell you what, Xiaonan Yan against Tabitha Ricci. I really, thought Tabitha Ricci has done a great job of making herself a more well-rounded fighter. She's always had good ground. She's got judo. She's got the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but her stand-up has gotten way better. But this was an example of another level that she just wasn't able to get past. And a lot of it is the size is a little bit, the length was some, but Yan just basically, I've never seen her look better than she looked in this fight. She was completely in control of the fight throughout, the entire fight. There was hardly a time when she was not the one really controlling things. Yeah, Ricci got her back a little bit at one point, but lost it quickly. And Yan just controlled where the fight was going to take place. She did a couple of the point downs and everything, but she was also, utilizing, Ricci was doing a good job of trying to utilize lateral movement, and she would cut it off at times and step where she needed to step so she could throw. And she was accurate with her shots. She just, look, when she fought Weili Zhang, I was like, wasn't too sure about the first round thing. Kind of looked like she was out, but they let her coaches touch her and stuff like that. I thought it was probably not the right thing, but she got through it, and she takes it to 5 rounds. And she had some moments against Weili. And I honestly, going into that, I thought Weili was going to walk through her. She's way better than, I gave her credit, and she proved it in this fight of just how good she is. And I don't see anyone giving her a problem in that division other than Weili Zhang right now.
Yeah, John. I mean, look, us as experts in quotation marks is we honestly, truly, we look at fighters like her and we go, okay, she's got a long ways to go. And then she has a performance where she fought Weili. We're like, okay, look, the first round went exactly how we thought the fight would go. But guess what? Rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 didn't go where we thought.
That's right.
She's a lot better than we gave her credit for. She's sucked it up. She fought through the hard parts, and then she also built some confidence on that. And that's what I saw from that Weili fight tonight. Is I felt like she's like, I've fought 5 rounds with the best fighter in the world, like in my weight class. There's nothing you're gonna do to me that I think hasn't been done to me already. That's 1. 2 is that I can't get through. And you see the moments where she poured into the ground, like, let's go. And Tabitha Ricci was like, I'm just
I don't think
on
so.
the outside.
Smart girl.
Yeah, I'll stand over here.
Smart fighter right there.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, but that's the kind of fighter with Yan. She's fell into her own. She understands exactly. She's like, look, I know how good I am. There's nothing you're doing right now. I see everything you're doing. I wish I could explain to people at home that have never stood inside the cage. There's moments where everything seems like it's going so fast. And there's moments where everything's just slowed down, almost like Matrix style. Like I see everything just like, you're just moving,
you're going back.
You're leaning back like the Matrix, just letting bullets fly by you. You're not.
Well,
fake.
Fiziev does that with kicks, so
yeah, it's just true though, right? When you've been doing it for so long, you just see it coming. You just feel it. You see it, like you see the movements, and then things just seem like they're going so slow. She seemed like tonight that everything that Tabitha Ricci did tonight, it's like I see it coming a mile away. Everything you're doing,
exactly it.
And the confidence was showing, and she was glowing with confidence as the fight was going on. I thought it was a fantastic performance by Yan. Great job. But I agree with you, John. I don't know who. I have no idea who she would fight that would give her a hard time.
I'm being honest.
I'm looking at these rankings right here.
Yeah,
Tatiana Suarez is maybe somebody only because she's got great wrestling. And on the ground, I don't really know if there's another female fighter as good as Tatiana Suarez on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'll tell you what, you're right. I forgot. I was thinking Tatiana was fighting at 125 because she did, and she's down at strawweight. That's true. So that would be, if you're going to give a matchup, if you're not going to give Tatiana the title shot, then I would say that her against Yan, that would be a hell of a scrap.
Yeah, then you got Jandaroba, but I don't think Jandaroba will be able to take her down and control her on the ground.
I don't
Just
think
the
so.
way that Jan keeps the distance and the
And
space.
she's already gone against Mackenzie Dern. She beat Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that they're exact, but they're similar.
Yeah.
You know, in that, you know, and actually I think that Jandaroba probably doesn't attack as much as Mackenzie as far as
She
the
doesn't.
stand up.
And the two of them have fought, I believe, right? Didn't Jandaroba lose to Mackenzie Dern?
Nah,
I believe
yeah,
they
she
fought.
did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
I believe they fought.
Yeah, I want to say she did.
But yeah, I think overall, like there's fights to be had there. But I thought Jan looked fantastic. I can't really think of outside of Tatiana Suarez who would really give her a tough fight. Salikhov versus Song.
Ooh.
Fucking Randy Couture fucking peeps his head out of the bunghole again. He's just letting these 40-year-olds stick around and telling
just at that moment that the commentary wants to say, well, he's getting a little old. He's 40 years old.
Bink.
And he boom. It was what he did with that kick, because Song saw it. He saw the spinning attack, which was fast, especially for 40. It was fast, but he definitely thought it was coming to the body, and he brought his hands down to block that, and he just takes that leg and brings it up and dink, and man, straight across, heel to the jaw. It was beautifully done. I mean, just absolutely obliterated him with it. And that's why, we talked about it. What do we say? Dude, look out for his spinning attacks. He's good with them, man. And he sets them up well. And he did. And it was the execution of that kick was something that he's done quite often, practiced it, 10,000 times. And that's why it was effective.
John, I got dropped in training one time with a spinning heel kick, and it landed like across the top of my head, skipped off my dome. Yeah, and it was one of those things where I saw it coming. I saw the load up. I saw the spin. I thought I stepped out of range of it, but for some reason, it still skipped off my dome. And next thing you know, I hit the ground. I felt myself hitting the ground. I woke up for a second. I got back. I'm like, okay, I can keep going. And Javier was like, no. You're done.
Yeah, Javier was right.
He's like, no, you're done. But it was one of those things where like I saw the whole thing happening. I'm like, oh, I'm far enough away. I thought I got out. And just all of a sudden I'm like waking up going, okay, what happened? Shit, it hit me. And it's one of those moments like, and I felt like that's exactly what happened with Song. I think he felt like he was out of range.
Oh yeah,
and he saw it and it just still landed and it was done. Lights out, over. You got to be careful with those type of kicks. They happen so fast, so quick. You can see the spin, but then they get there so quickly. And if they just touch, what people need to remember when you're watching head kicks of any type, they don't need to be hard. They just have to be accurate. If they get there clean, they don't have to be hard. If you think about like how many times have you seen just the kick land with the toes and the person could just go fucking like stiff and just start trying to chew on their tongue. They're out. They're out cold. And that happens all the time. You just have to be accurate. I've seen guys get knocked out with just the toes across the chin, the toes across the temple.
See, and normally what you're saying is true. I've seen it too. But if someone gets hit with the toes, normally the toes flex. Mm-hmm. And it'll take some of that off. That's why when you get hit with the heel, there's no flex, man. It was whatever, speed it's coming at. Oh, that's what it's hitting you with, and there's no give in it. It's going to be just a hard freaking rock hitting you in the head. So, dude, anybody that got hit by that would have done the same thing that happened to Song. They would have gone down because that was a beautifully executed kick. Hey, look at the hell of a win for a guy who at the age of 40 still is putting on exciting fights.
Yeah, fantastic. Gabriela Fernandes versus Cong Wang.
Wow.
Upset of the night.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Cong Wang was having her way.
Yeah.
She was in charge. She was having fun. You could see she was enjoying herself in there. She was being
cocky.
Yes, absolutely. And that's kind of
confidence.
Well, it's a little bit of both. I think it was, she was gaining confidence. She was cocky before the fight. You could see it in, the weigh-ins and stuff like that. And as the fight was going on, it was just building. Her confidence was like, oh, I got you. And look, I'm going to tell you, technique-wise, she was going to the body so well, Josh. I mean, and just continuously, boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh, man. I mean, she is just eating her up with the body shots. And technique-wise, in the stand-up, she was way ahead of Fernandes. But she got hit. And anybody that gets hit, you get hit, you get hurt. And then she got hit again. And I thought it was brilliant of Gabriella when she had the opportunity. Don't go for ground and pound on her, man. Go for that submission. She did and sunk it in. Beautifully done. That's the kind of win that will make you smile for a long time.
Well, that's when you could tell the inexperience of Wang is when she just kind of rolled up to her all fours and gave her back right away. Yeah. I mean, normally what you'll see from back in the day, like I would go all the way back to like a Frank Shamrock fight to other fighters. You get dropped, just roll back to your back and go into like a turtle, but not turtle, like an upside down turtle more. Like you basically play in that front guard position.
You're crabbing.
Yeah. Making them try to get past your guard, all those things. But most people that make the mistakes, they roll forward and go right to all forward, trying to fish for a leg. Person gets your back and you get choked. And that's what we saw. The inexperience, I think, at a high level, and Fernandes being able to capitalize on that moment, man. But great job. Head kick led to the punch that dropped her, jumped right to the back. Wang made a mistake, and rest is history. I thought it was a fantastic performance. Like, Wang looked good. Cong Wang looked good.
He did.
Until that moment.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can do.
I just look at it. Cong Wang is going to be around for a while. She's good.
Yeah.
Technically good. She's got attitude. You can see it in the way she fights. She's going to learn from, just the mistake, and she's going to grow from it, but she's going to be up there. She's good. She's a really good fighter.
John, the fight that I was really excited about watching, kind of lived up to it a little bit, but Oezdemir versus Ulberg.
It had its moments.
It could have been better. I was expecting a finish, to be honest. I think everyone was. I think even I heard Bisping going, I didn't expect to be standing here in the third round. We didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I thought someone was going to get knocked out before then, but both of them, man, showed some grit. Obviously, Ulberg had the harder punching, I thought, and landed the cleaner, harder shots.
He just landed more.
He was landing more. You could see it on Ozdemir's face. He was wearing it on his face.
Yeah, Oezdemir missed a lot.
The range, I think the range had something to do with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. But it was he missed and left himself out of position to be hit at times that you wouldn't. Oh, damn, man, And Ulberg took advantage of some of it. He didn't take advantage of other ones because he got a little tired. And you can see if there's one thing about Carlos, because we saw it in his first loss. He got tired. He was putting it on someone. He got tired and he couldn't recover from it, and he got the loss. He hasn't lost since. And you looked and you said, okay, he's really, figured this out. And he has, until he's standing there in front of someone that he's hitting with good shots and they're not going away.
Yeah.
And he needs to just, get in that mindset of, hey, you're going to run into those guys like, Oezdemir here, who they can take some punishment and they can go, and you just got to continue to find your moment to get some air, calm yourself down a little bit, and then get back to doing what you were doing that has been so effective. Obviously, I thought Ulberg, definitely won the fight. He looked good, but there was moments that he could have, if he was like in a position to, I'm not saying be in better shape because he was in shape, but to be more in control of his cardio during the fight, he could have possibly put Oezdemir away.
Okay, but then do you also look and he's like, look, I'm touching him from the outside. I'm winning this fight. I know he's dangerous. I don't want to get carried away. I'm not going to
make a big mistake.
People were talking about Oezdemir or Ulberg kind of almost being like not next in line, but like right there in that title talk now after a win. They're kind of in that mix, to be honest, because there's not a lot of top guys at light heavyweight right now that people are really clamoring to go fight. I mean, you got Ulberg at 10. You've got Oezdemir at 8. Johnny Walker's not making a run right now. Khalil Roundtree's probably in Rakic. And
Khalil had his shot right now. He's not going back right now.
Who is?
Khalil's. He's not going to get another shot right away.
No, he won't. But I mean, honestly, John, all that fight did was give Rose his stock. He's going to end up getting somebody like a Jan Blachowicz next.
But it's going to take two.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
He'd have to have 2 good wins before they'd give him that shot.
I'm looking to probably have him fight someone like a Jan Blachowicz. I mean, Khalil's right there in that mix of, fighting for those guys. I mean, you got Ulberg probably and maybe Khalil Roundtree.
That would not be a bad fight.
Not a bad fight.
No,
not a bad fight. Fun for the fans for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to something like that. because you got, I think Yuri and Jamal Hill just got, I know it's Jamal Hill, guys, calm down. Okay. I know some of you guys in the comments that haven't heard us in a while. Probably like, man, his name's Jamal. I've been calling him Jamal forever.
Jamal.
Podcast Dave. Podcast Dave one day called him Jamal Hill. I'm like, who the fuck is Jamal Hill? Anyways. But yeah, you got Jamal Hill versus Yuri. That fight just got announced. We'll talk more about that later. But good fights for Ulberg. I think Khalil Roundtree, Ulberg, and maybe Jan Blachowicz. Makes for some fun fight. Oezdemir kind of in that mix too. You can see Oezdemir and maybe a Rakic fight, or Oezdemir and maybe a Jan Blachowicz fight too. Somewhere in there. We can see some of that. And Krylov is in that mix as well. So good fights to be had at 205. We'll see what happens. Any other fights on here you want to talk about, John?
Well, you know, if you're going to sit there and
talk about the one,
the
head kick,
the head kick from hell. I'll tell you what,
just going stiff.
This is what happens.
Go ahead. I thought Choi had a great knockout. I felt like Sahota, but I don't know however you say his name, Singh Sahota. I mean, he just when you're that tall and that long, John, for the flyweight division, and you leave your chin in the air. It's almost every time you leave your chin in the air. The tall, long, lanky guys like that are that much taller than their opponents. They tend to get hit with the overhand rights or overhand lefts, the loopy overhand shots. That's exactly what happened. He left himself out there too long and ended up getting clipped with the overhand right, put to sleep. Beautifully done by Choi. It looked like he was taking his time, being patient with the striking, and was like letting the fight develop. And then he landed the big shot. But obviously the fight that we're going to probably talk about the most is the head kick KO.
Ming Shi
versus
Xiaonan Feng.
There you go, Xiao Kane Feng. But she was
Feng.
They put her out on a stretcher, took her out. Said she was okay later, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
Boom,
well, there's no doubt. It's funny because, Josh, I'm not going to sit there and tell people what to do. I understand the whole thing, but they get into this whole thing. They put a spinal, thing on her neck and everything, and it's like, I've seen, let's say, close to, I would say over 100,000 fights. And I've seen a lot of people get knocked out. Never seen a neck injury from a knockout. Not one. From kicks, from knees, from punches, but they always put that thing on. But it's, you want to put her on a board, I understand it, but they're strapping her head and everything. It's almost like this giant production. I've seen it hundreds of times, and the person is never. But I understand you're supposed to precaution. It's all good. But when I saw her go out, as far as being knocked out, she was out. And then when I saw her leaving the cage, all wrapped up in what they were doing and stuff, I'm like, she's gonna, as long as she doesn't suffer from something that we can't see, as far as a subdural hematoma or something like that, she's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
and she was, and God bless. I'm glad she was.
Yeah, I think what happened there was that she got short circuited with a kick to the neck, and 2 follow-up shots right after kind of put her over the top.
Yeah,
but she was out. Like it was basically like just short circuited. Her whole body just went stiff when she got kicked in the neck. It was a clean, hard shot. In terms of the neck stuff where they wrap them up, and obviously I want them to take as much precaution as they possibly can for the fighters.
But people, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying, look, I understand why they're doing precaution. But everyone looks at that and goes, "Oh my God!" And I said, "Look, settle down. It's precaution. I've seen it too many times and never seen it have where that was something that ended up being, we had a problem. God bless. I don't ever want to see that, but it was a hell of a knockout, though. Hell of a knockout.
Beautifully done. John, anything else on here you want to talk about?
Nah, that's good. We're good with it. My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on Element Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good-tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink Element so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on.
All right, so hey, we're going to jump into some news though. But before we jump into some news, I want to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by BetUS. And also, Element.
Also,
John, show us the cans, man. Show us the cans.
Come on,
Stay
baby,
salty,
man.
my friends.
Stay
Use
salty. Element, fantastic product. We're talking 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. You need magnesium. It'll help you sleep. It'll keep you from getting cramps. It'll got restless legs, things like that. Takes care of it. Magnesium, one of the most important elements you can put in your body.
John, you say restless legs. I mean, do you have that problem?
No, I don't. But my dad did.
I do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had it in a while. I mean, I've been drinking Element for about a little over a year.
You know, it's magnesium, dude.
I'm simply saying, like, I had it during fighting. I had it the most. Fuck, it used to drive me crazy. But I also didn't drink a lot of salt until the end of my career.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I do notice that when I drink Element, I sleep better at night. But hey, if you guys use that link down below in our descriptions, they'll send you a bonus package with every purchase you guys make through that link. And if you guys are using BetUS, make sure you guys YouTube 150 is the promo code. You guys get a 150% bonus at YouTube 150 for BetUS, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two. Make sure you guys use our promo code YouTube 150. Also, we continue our partnership over at OnlyFans. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. We want to thank you guys so much for supporting us on all these platforms, everywhere. We want to thank you guys so much. All right, John, let's get into some news, man. There's a couple little topics I wanted to definitely talk about when it came to the news stuff. What do you mean, uh-oh? Uh-oh. What?
Uh-oh. Who's in trouble now?
What news?
What news?
Well, first, before we get started with any of the news, no, that's not news, but Miranda Maverick apparently is having a baby.
Congratulations, Miranda.
I have never met her personally. Have you ever met her?
I have met her once.
You have met her once. Okay. Well, my personal thing is I want to make sure, hey, congratulations, Miranda, and to your significant other. Congratulations. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And congratulations. I wish you nothing but the best. Healthy baby, healthy mama, and everything. And hopefully you have a good pregnancy, because it's going to be a long 9 months. Please. I hope you enjoy it. It sounds awesome. So good for you. It says, hey, if you guys want to know, on Miranda Maverick's Instagram, it says, P.S. baby registry is linked in the bio. So if you guys want to maybe donate or
inundated with stuff, you're gonna have more diapers than you know what to do with.
That would be awesome. So look, she seems like a very sweet person. I've never met her personally, but I also want to say congratulations to her and her other, and doing so. So
congratulations.
John, yeah, it's a big deal, man. Having kids is a big deal. I think we need to populate the world even more. Let's populate the world. John, I guess the elephant in the room is what Duke Rufus was talking about. We're going to talk about this real quick. He had something to say, and I want to play it for you guys. Here it goes.
Hey, checking in from Ottawa, Canada, up here teaching some seminars, some great people. That being said, I got to bring up the elephant in the room in the MMA world right now. What is going on with PFL and Bellator? As a former fighter, I have a different perspective than managers and or people who run it, because I understand, being a former fighter and these guys I train, that time is of the essence. You can always make more money. You can't make more time in life. And time is of the essence for these guys to create their goals, legacies, and obviously how they make a living. They don't get paid to train. They get paid to fight. Speaking of, my man, Sergio Pettis, has not fought for Bellator since November 17th of last year. He was given permission to fight for Rizin in June 3rd. That was not on his contract. And he was just offered a fight in Japan that we have heard through our Japanese contacts, but that was for Rizin. There's no date set in sight. This is very tough for these fighters. Communication would be great. Right now, the organizations are quiet. The managers are quiet. While the fighters are sitting back waiting for scraps. I don't think it's fair. Can someone spit out some answers here? The UFC already has all their dates planned through March. I'm a small-time MMA promoter. I've already got a April event in the books. with a December, and I'm nobody. I'm just a small time guy who puts on local shows to build young talent. We've got all of our tournaments scheduled for everything we're doing. How can a major organization coming into the new year not have any dates on the books and, no answers for these fighters? Please, somebody, if you know, let me know.
How does a small time promotion already have shows scheduled out until April? And he said he basically, what was the term he used for them? He said a big time promotion, or he said whatever it was. I don't look at them as that anymore. I don't know what it is, but something and I'm not going to say too much because there's, obviously, I just don't think that they are a promotion to be taken serious right now. They just released Lorenz Larkin. They just released Yaroslav Amosov. I've already been told that certain fighters that have one or
question.
Two
do you know that? I'm not saying anything about the release. Do you know did Lorenz and Yaroslav asked for that release?
No,
or was it just they just released them?
Just released. Yep. I do know that there's a fighter that just fought recently. He's got one more fight left on his contract. They have said that they will try to fight him before March, and he's basically looking to try to get out, but he's coming off of a loss in a big high profile fight. So he wants to get one more fight in so he can try to get off on a win, which he probably will. He's one of the best fighters in Bellator right now. So look, there's a lot of fighters like Sergio Pettis could probably go. I would like to see these guys make a splash somewhere else. I mean, look, I think Amosov, I think Lorenz Larkin, I think if Jason Jackson, I don't know how many more fights he's got left on, but he just lost his title over there. I can't imagine. I don't know how. I believe he's on a new contract, so he may be there for a while. But if you're going to release guys, I mean, look, guys that I like to see fight in the UFC that I think will make a big splash in the organization over there will be guys like Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix just put out a thing basically saying, like, I haven't heard from them. They haven't talked to me. I'm wasting my prime right now. I'm the best bantamweight in the world, which I pretty much kind of believe he is. I don't get me wrong. I think Marab doesn't pose a threat to him at all. Sean O'Malley poses more of a threat to him.
Together.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah. But John, to me, Marab does not pose a threat to Patchy Mix at all. If anything, he just feeds right into what Patchy does best. Yes. Now, Sean O'Malley poses a little bit more of a threat to him because of the speed, the reach, the range. Styles make matchups. Yeah. Peter Yan, I think, poses a little bit of threat to him as well.
No, look, I think Umar Nurmagomedov and Patchy Mix both know because they train together at times. And they both will say, that's the toughest guy that I face.
Yeah, they both.
So, yeah.
They both have.
So they both have. And so you take a look, and that says a lot about, where they're at with that. Matchups and styles are going to obviously, vary between different guys. But I like what Duke is doing here because what Duke is doing is he's trying to stick up for his guys without them saying something and coming out. He's doing it. He's trying to do it in a pretty casual way. But the one thing I'm going to sit there and say, Josh, you had a manager. It's your manager's responsibility to be on the phone and calling whoever you are signed with about getting you the fights that you need to, continue on with your career. It shouldn't be the fighter doing it unless you don't have the manager. But if you have a manager, they're supposed to be that talking piece for you. They're supposed to be creating that. Are they not?
No, you're 100% right. But guess what? When the clown show's at the top is not giving you any answers, there's no there's no one to talk to.
There's no feedback to come back with.
Let's be 100% honest. Don Davis and Peter Murray, they have no clue how to run a promotion. They know how to raise money. They're probably the best I've ever seen raise money. But they do not understand what it's like to run a promotion. They do have no clue what it's like to handle fighters and get them fights and make sure that they are all Don Davis came out personally and said, look, I don't have time to watch fights. Then what are you doing as a promoter? Bring somebody in that can manage it. Do what?
It's his show.
I understand it's his show, but he needs to, you need to watch the fights. If it's your show, you should be watching what fighters you're promoting. That's my 2 cents. You know, and whether you agree with it or not, or anybody else out there agrees with it or not, like as a promoter, it's his job to know which fighters he's promoting, which fighters he wants to potentially put more money into, and which fighters to dial back the money in. And whatever.
See, that's part of the problem is you're taking a look at everything gets into this, and I'm taking nothing away from Francis. Francis is a great guy and a great fighter, but you're putting a lot of money into Francis, but they don't have anybody to fight Francis.
No.
Then that's, you know, you take a look and you go, and Francis is a lot of money. You know, it's not economical to use Francis more than once a year if you're going to use him. So they have such good talent. I find it troubling that they're not communicating with their fighters if that's what's going on, like what Duke is saying, because they need to communicate. They need to make them happy, because the only thing I can sit there and say is, Josh, you know, if something is said in the gym from one fighter to another fighter about an organization or a manager or a person in the fight game, that is just spread everywhere. It just grows.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's hard to get past as soon as someone says, no, don't do it. It's like what, you know, when RDR came out and said after his, you know, debut fight against Mershart, and he wins and he goes in the back to talk to the, you know, the media. And what does he say? Don't sign with one.
Yeah.
Don't sign.
Yeah. I've noticed that one has put some words out there for DJ. It was like, you know, DJ's come out and been like, hey, like one was the best deal for me, you know, and I agree. He probably was.
That's okay.
He made the most money out there because of one. You know, he's like, look, I look at my numbers after doing the class action lawsuit. He's like, man, all that, I had all these fights. He's like, and then this is what I'm getting paid. He's like, it's nothing. And I'm like, wow, all those fights, title fights. And he's like doing his 23% of whatever it was. He's like, I'm not getting paid much. I'm like, yeah, it's horrible, right? When he was getting paid from the UFC, then he goes to one, and Eddie Alvarez came out and said, and Eddie's told me personally himself, but
I know,
he made it very clear. He's like, I wouldn't fight for less than 7 figures. He's not fighting now for less than 7 figures. So he's in bare knuckle fighting for 7 figure. He was in.
Eddie's paid his dues.
He is.
I'm okay with that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I'm not knocking that at all. No. And like Eddie said, is if I'm not making 7 figures, I just won't fight. That's another thing. Like, you just got to know your worth. What it comes down to is like, hey, I know what I'm going to bring. I know I'm going to bring action-packed fights. I'm either going to go out on a stretcher or I'm going to put somebody else on a stretcher. Those are the kind of fighters you want. And I look at PFL. They have the talent. They're just choosing, I think, right now to go the cheap route. And when you go the cheap route, you're not going to get the same talent. So those fighters want to know what's going on. And so you're going to get, I think what's going to happen is in the next probably 3 months, especially over the holidays when fighters need the money because of holiday gifts, Christmas presents, things like spending time with family is most important. Traveling to go see family, you know, spending money on gifts for their kids and their family. Look, it's one thing to say you're a professional fighter. No, I'm on TV. But if the money doesn't translate, you feel like a piece of shit. You're like, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time dedicating so much to this company and I can't even buy Christmas gifts for my family? Like, what am I doing? And they're going to automatically, I can tell you by January, February, there's going to be a lot more fighters going, hey, if I don't hear from Don Davis, if I don't hear from Peter Murray, if I don't hear from whoever's running that show over there, then I want out. And the more fighters that clamor about getting out, John, it's become a problem.
Yeah, I think what I've really seen as far as, you know, there are fighters out there like Brendan Loughnane who had signed with the PFL. And, you know, when you listen to Brendan talk, you have talked with him, you know, alongside with me and stuff. He loves the PFL. He says they changed my life. You know, I now, you know, take care of my family and this and that, and it all works for him. It's what's happened with that whole Bellator takeover. It was too much. It was too much right now. And I think people are getting lost. And Sergio Pettis being one, he's getting lost. And Sergio is definitely in the prime of his career. He should be fighting, you know, and you can't. And the part of the problem is it's a 135-pound weight class. The PFL doesn't have a 135-pound weight class. Patchy Mix is a 135-pound weight class. They don't have it.
Johnny
Emlyn. You just look and you go, Johnny Emlyn at 185. You know, you just look and you go, this is the kind of thing you got to fix. You know, somehow either open up that weight class or let those guys go. You know, That's really what you got, because fighters only have so long. And I sit here and I don't want to say I criticize, but I talk about guys letting their careers pass them by while they're not fighting, and it's like, when it's their fault, it's their fault, but when they can't get a fight, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and look at my career, John. I should have fought way more.
Yeah,
I should have fought way more.
I'll be the first one to tell you should have.
I was plagued with injuries, but
that
on top of the injuries, I still, in moments in my career, I was like, oh no, I'll wait for, I'm going to pass on that fight. Why? I should have fought everyone. Fought them all. I fought better when I was more active. I fought better, way better when I was more active.
Repetitions. Yeah. I tell you, I don't give a shit if it's fighting, if it's officiating. I tell people all the time, look, repetitions. You need more repetitions. The more repetitions you get, the better off you're going to be. Now, as long as as a fighter, you're not being damaged, you're going to get better from each fight. Just little things. If you're getting damaged, that's different. And you can only sit there and say, when you're fighting the top, you're fighting those people that are top 7 people in that weight class. That's tough, because all of those people are dangerous. All of them can hurt you. All of them can cause damage to you, even if you win. But yeah, the more repetitions, I tell every fighter, the more you can get as far as fights, take them.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got plenty of guys in that 135-pound division that could jump to the UFC right now.
Oh, yeah.
Magomedov. You've got Rafion Stotts. You got Danny Sabatello, and you got Patchy Mix. Those 4 guys right there all need to leave. I mean, they don't have a weight class for you. And everything I've heard from Bellator is that Bellator's pretty much going away after their February show. After the next Bellator with Paul Hughes. What's that?
Yeah, 2 more. You got Usman against Paul Hughes in January, right?
I thought that was early. Is that end of January now?
That's end of January.
Okay.
And then, do you have one in February? I don't know.
I thought there was supposed to be one in February, but okay. But I think those are the last ones. We're gonna find out. But look, there's guys that could be there. Johnny Eblin needs to bounce. I think Fabian Edwards could also bounce. I mean, they need some, that 185-pound division in the UFC needs a shot to the arm anyways. Sure, Johnny Eblin would be great for that division. You got a lot of fighters that are there right now that are getting a little bit older, long in the tooth. They're not great fighters. There needs to be some new blood in that mix. And let's just be honest, the 135-pound division right now, to me and you as well, for the last 2 years, has been the best weight class in the sport of MMA. You add someone like Patchy Mix, you add someone like a Danny Sabatello, you add a Rafion Stotts, you add a Magomedov, who's one of the only guys to beat Peter Yan. Like, that makes for very fun fights. Those 4 more fighters that jump into 135-pound division of an already stacked division of Henry Cejudo, Song Yadong, Rob Font, Batista. I mean, you go down to Jose Aldo, Kyler Phillips. I mean, Zahabi, McGee. I mean, there's plenty of fighters in this mix right here that we could mix them up in there. And I put Patchy right there at the top. If I was to say, hey, guys that I could feel comfortable matching Patchy Mix up with right off the bat would be Merab. Right, and then stylistically they match up great. Guys like Sean O'Malley is going to give him a hard time. Umar Nurmagomedov is going to give him a hard time. Peter Yan, not as much, because Peter tends to let the round slip away if he gets taken down. He'll just kind of hang out, in that position. He was starting to do it in the first round of this fight against Figgy, and then he realized, I got to escape. I got to go ahead and pick up the tempo. Corey Sandhagen is a bad matchup for Corey Sandhagen against Patchy Mix. I think he's a bad matchup. I think Magomedov is a bad matchup for almost all of them. He's very threatening. The only guys that really would probably, outside of Patchy Mix, give Magomedov a hard time would be someone like an Umar. The rest of them, he's a nasty matchup for all of them, because he can wrestle, funky style stand up, and he's got good submissions as well. He's a very well-rounded fighter all the way around. Great fighters to add in there. Johnny Eblin in that 185-pound division, John. If I'm looking at that right now, you got Johnny Eblin, Robert Whitaker. I'd like to see Johnny Eblin and Imavov. That'd be a great fight. Good on the feet, good wrestling, takedown defense. Why not see a Johnny Eblin in I know that Strickland and him are friends. They've trained together.
That's not going to happen.
That probably won't happen, but why not Israel Adesanya and a Johnny Eblin? That'd be a fun fight. Wrestler / striker.
How about Hamzat?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see the wrestling. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of the wrestling. Let's go from there. I'm down with that. You've got those fights that are in there, man. So you put a Fabian Edwards mixed in there as well. Let's go ahead and jump right into the 170-pound division. You've got Yaroslav Amosov. You've got, I'm assuming, Logan Sterling may end up being a free agent soon too if they released Amosov. And you got Jason Jackson, and you also got Lorenz Larkin at 170. You got fighters that are in there. Sean Brady would be a fun fight with Amosov. I'd love to see that fight. That'd be a fantastic fight. Good on the feet, good wrestling, good grappling. Both of them can grapple. Both of them can wrestle. Great fight in there. So, I'd like to see Colby Covington and Logan Sterling. Let me see that fight. Let's see it.
You're just going.
I'm loving
this. Boom.
I want to play matchmaker for one day. If these guys are going to leave and they're being released from the Bellator / PFL brand, there's fights to be had, man. I almost feel like the UFC may get lucky that the PFL really just fumbled the bag so bad that they're going to end up with Strikeforce level fighters without having to pay for them. That's where I'm at. That's kind of where I feel like they have fumbled this thing so much. I mean, this is fucking Ernie Barner's. What's his name? Beiners from the Cleveland Browns of night. What year was that when he fumbled on the
Ernest Biner, man? Come on, Ernest Biner.
Yeah,
Ernest Biner.
Been a long time, man. I've been here a lot since then. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you fumbled the bag with these world-class fighters on there, and the UFC is going to skate away with fighters that they didn't even have to pay for. The confidence of Dana White when he was speaking about they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, they're kind of proving it right now. So I hope that they get it together because we need more promotions. We need more promotions to help build up the level of world-class fighters that are out there. We need them. We need as many as we could possibly get. So I hope they get it together, but who knows? We'll see. Who knows?
It's a rough one.
It is a rough one, John. It really is. Let me see. Here we go on some more news. Let's go ahead and talk Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill.
That's actually a good matchup. Yuri is such a just strange style matchup for anyone. But Jamal Hill's got power in his hands. Obviously, we've seen that Yuri can get hit. He's open to get hit. On the ground, I think Yuri is probably a little bit better on the ground. He's a little awkward, but Jamal, not that he's not, doesn't know what he's doing on the ground, but likes to be in the stand-up position. I just look at this fight itself is, where is Jamal Hill at? Coming off of, his last fight, where is he going to be? And the same thing with Yuri. I understand why they're matching these guys up. They do it all the time when it comes to, guys coming off a loss, got to get someone to win. That's what they're going to do here, but both of them have big question marks right now, and both of them are coming off of losses to the same guy. So yeah,
Yuri was talking about going to 85.
I don't think
that's smart.
85. No,
he's a big, tall guy.
He is.
I can tell on his body, he's got a little bit of weight he could possibly lose, but I think he would kill himself to get all the way down to 185.
You're talking about that's a 20-pound drop. Yeah, I just don't see Yuri being able to do that effectively. Not unless, then again, you guys like, Jared Cannonier, he went from heavyweight to 205 to 185, and he looks fantastic, for how many years being there at 185. So it could be that, it could work for him.
Yeah. I mean, it could. I mean, look, Yuri to me is somebody that you just don't know what you're going to, what you're going to get, but you don't know how it's going to come out in the fight.
This is true.
Look, he could take Jamal Hill down really easily and control the top position and be able to, get a submission or just hang out on the top and do ground and pound and slow Jamal Hill down. Or Jamal Hill can knock him out on the feet.
True.
This could be a great fight. And the way that Yuri bounces around and moves his head up and down and does all these things.
So strange as far as what he does.
It truly is. It really is a very strange way he fights. And it's just so hard and unpredictable to deal with. And so when I look at a fighter like that, I'm like, man, he really could. He He could starch Jamal Hill, or Jamal Hill could starch him. He could control the fight. He's got more ways to win, obviously, than Jamal Hill does. But will he fight that way? Because he's just a wild child, man. You don't know you don't know what he's going to do.
You know, the one thing that is the difference between the two of, you know, Yuri's had a lot of experience. You know, he was in Ryzen for a long time. He fought, you know, good competition there. Then came to the UFC and he's had, you know, success. Then he's had some of the losses. Jamal's still young in the sport.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have 15 fights as a professional. You know, he's been in the UFC for what, close to 10 fights, I want to say. You know, 8, 9, 10 fights, somewhere in there. You know, and so the fact that Yuri's got that advantage as far as just experience, it's the one advantage that I look and say it could have an effect in this fight. They're close in age, they're close in, you know, strength and body styles and everything. Yuri's obviously a lot, you know, stranger to get prepared for. Jamal's more of your normal technical type of striker, but it should be a really fun fight to watch.
No, I agree. There was a couple things real quick I wanted to just kind of have some fun with. Andre Ward is willing to fuck up Jake Paul. So look, I've been on the apron while Andre Ward was sparring with one of my guys at AKA. I've been at a lot of his fights because him coming out of Oakland. I've been front row at a lot of his fights when he fought in Oakland and that, what was it called? The Series 7 or the Super 7?
Super 6.
Super 6.
Super 6.
I was there when he fought the guy from Denmark.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name. I'm looking at him right now.
Gosh. Anyways, fantastic fight.
Yeah.
Not Crotch. Not
Not Crotch.
God, I can't remember his name. Anyways, but it was a great fight. I was there in Oakland with Coker.
He complained about headbutts. He had cuts on both eyes.
Yeah.
God damn it. I can't think of his.
But he was a fantastic fighter, man.
Yeah, he was a good fighter.
You know, but I was there at his fights there. I mean, he's always been a fantastic, but I love the fact that people are stepping up for the Mike Tyson thing and saying, hey, I'll fight him. You know,
Hold it. Bitter Beef said, I want to fight him.
Yep.
Daniel Dubois said, hey, you want to fight someone? Come fight me.
Yeah.
Now it's all of a sudden, now the boxers are going, okay, I'm done with this.
Francis Ngannou said, I'll fuck you up and your brother at the same time. Just lock the cage door.
That's different.
I'd love to see that. Hey, did you see the Mark Hunt stuff?
I did.
What's your take on that? I liked his approach on how he decided to. Let's go ahead and play this.
He represented himself.
Yeah.
Combat sports legal history. So this week he just self-represented himself.
Mark Hunt did.
His appeal of his doping lawsuit against the UFC. Long story short, at UFC 200, Mark competed against Brock Lesnar. The UFC waived some of their anti-doping protocols for Brock to be able to compete in that event. And after the bout, it was revealed that Brock Lesnar tested positive for a banned substance. So Mark Hunt sued. At the initial court level, all of his cases were dismissed. This week, there were oral hearings on his appeal, and he self-represented himself, and he did a damn good job representing himself. Now, the judgment hasn't come out yet, but win or lose, this case is going to make combat sports history. It's going to set a precedent. It's going to tell fighters, not just Mark, but all fighters, that if your opponent was doping, it's that good enough for you to be able to sue them. Now, where Mark ran into some problems, it seems the court accepts that Mark did not consent to fight a doping opponent. But you have to be harmed by that. And when the court asked Mark how he was harmed, he did a really good job. He said, look, I'm harmed, even though he wasn't physically harmed. He was harmed because the fight ends up being a no contest. He ends up getting stalled out in the rankings. And the way prize fighters make money is to climb that ladder in the rankings, become more of a draw, more of an attraction, and you could get paid more when you renegotiate your contract or get your next bout. So he was stalled out in the rankings because of this no contest. And that's a good theory. I don't know if the court is going to accept that or not, but win or lose, this court's going to say, do you have a remedy? Can you sue your opponent for battery if they end up being drug cheats? And Mark is going to create this precedent for everybody to know. So I'll keep you posted when the judgment comes out.
What's your take on that? Because obviously you have worked very closely with the commissions on these type of things, and I want to know, should the fighters be held accountable? Because this is a combat sport where a little bit of steroids will strengthen you enough to do more damage to my brain and my body. Should I be able to, knowing that there is a drug policy in place and that you openly cheated, and should I be able to sue you for battery? Or if the other way I wanted to take it was the UFC loosened their stuff for Brock to compete. Should I be able to sue them?
Well, that's the whole thing.
Like you literally said there's a doping. You guys are stringent on doping, and you guys have drug or doping policies, and you have an outside company that does the testing, but yet you let it go by. You eased them up just for this one fight, and then later he fails. You should be on the hook. Like what? Wait, I didn't know. Like Mark was saying, I didn't sign up to find a cheater.
It's not only the Mikkel Kessler.
Yeah.
Boom.
You son of a bitch.
Dude.
He just popped up in your head.
Popped in my head. Kessler. All of a sudden it was Kessler. Mikkel Kessler. Okay. I honestly think when you look at this, and Eric Madrigan is the guy who's speaking there. He's the guy that, I've done business with as far as I taught him and stuff. He's a really good guy. He's a lawyer from British Columbia.
Okay.
Mark actually,
he pounds Canadian.
Yeah, he does. He's a good man though. He really has a true case in the fact, if you want to take a look at this, he can sue Brock Lesnar, okay, saying you cheated. You knew that you weren't allowed to do something, but you took something that I wasn't able to take because it's illegal, but you did it, and you did it to try to beat me. That doesn't get him that far because Brock is, although Brock is someone that can makes a lot of money, could end up actually having, to pay out. You look at what the UFC what they did in trying to bring Brock back was they told Mark, look, he's been tested. Now he's not going to be able to be within the 6-month window that USADA wanted people on. We can't get him in the fight and have that done. So we're going to test him. We tested him. He came up clean. And so, do you want to fight him? And Mark said, yes. But Mark, hold on. When you say that, Mark is saying yes to what?
A clean fighter.
I want to fight a clean fighter. So the UFC's on the hook as far as they told Mark he tested clean. Now he did. And it's the UFC's responsibility, if you want to call, to say that, they do this testing to make it a fair and even, level playing field for everyone. And in some way, could someone say that they failed in this instance with Brock? Well, yeah, someone could put it on the UFC. Is it truly the UFC's fault? It all comes back to Brock. Does it not? It comes back to who's the one that put that in their body. Brock did. Did Brock know when he was doing it that it's not allowed? Yes. Did the UFC know that Brock was cheating? Do you think they knew?
John, I would want to see the actual real test results from the pre-test.
So would I.
I don't want to just get the word of the UFC. I want to see the actual results. I want the samples. If the samples are still available, I want to test those samples from an outside lab and say, hey, were the results that you got or shared with Mark Hunt legit?
Yeah, I doubt the samples are still around.
Probably not.
But I do think that he, and when he said that, what damages, I don't know what his contract for that fight was, but it could be normally, usually a UFC's contract is a show base as far as how much money and a win. Mm-hmm. So he didn't get that part because he didn't get a win. So there's that right there. And he's absolutely right. What Eric is saying is, I make more money based upon getting wins. I make more money the higher I am ranked within the UFC's, heavyweight weight class. And so that took and dropped me down instead of elevating me up. So it took money away from my ability to bargain and actually get a better contract. It absolutely took money out of my pocket. Could be true.
Well, a no contest automatically makes it also too a no show money. I mean, a no win bonus if it becomes a no contest. So
and it didn't become a no contest, right away.
Yeah,
that was, it was down the road that it became the no contest.
There's a lot of battles to be had there, but I mean, I guess let me go back to the other way though, or what he was talking about. Should we be allowed to? Let's just remove the promotion from it and say, look, because there's been times where we've tested, like you get tested, say 3 weeks before, you get tested like the day before the fight. Let's say those come back negative, but then they can test you all the way up until 5 or 6 a.m. the next morning after your fight, I believe is what you saw those rules are.
There's a window, a 24-hour window.
Yeah, after your fight, correct?
No, it's not 24 hours from whenever your fight is. They can test you within a 24-hour window of that fight. So if they cannot test you multiple times, but they can test you before that window that you're within their thing. But afterwards, they have that 24-hour window of your fight. So.
A lot of those fighters would test positive for something.
Oh, well.
You tested them the next morning after the fight.
There's a lot of guys, hey, test me now because I'm going to go do something.
Yeah, as soon as the fight's over, a lot of them are tested positive. Yep. Let's just be honest. May not be for steroids, but they're
it's not for steroids.
For something. Especially if the fight's in Vegas.
And it's hurt many a career.
Yeah, I honestly believe that there should be some sort of ability to either sue or to do something to the fighters that test positive. If I'm fighting somebody and they test positive, I should be able to sue them for whatever it is. Whether I won the fight or I lost the fight, doesn't matter. This is supposed to be a clean sport, and this word, a little bit extra of strength can do a lot of damage. If you're physically stronger than me, you can muscle me around. You can put me in positions, hold me in positions to do more damage. And you knowingly took something to do more damage to me. I can't put it any other way. You did it on purpose to cause more damage. You didn't believe in your own skills to get the job done, that you cheated. You used a performance enhancing drug to do damage to me, to my brain, to my body, to everything. When you put it that way, I feel like Mark Hunt's got a case, whether it's against UFC or whether it's against Brock Lesnar. There's something there. The way that he put it, very, very well put.
It'll be interesting to see how this Court of Appeals comes back.
Yeah, it will.
It will. And I give Mark a lot of credit for, he doesn't. This is not. It's very expensive to do what he's trying to do with lawyers, and he's trying to do it on his own because he doesn't have that ability to pay lawyers that kind of money. So good job for him.
Yeah.
Sticking with it.
Okay, look, I know that there was a lot of action going on with the Conor McGregor thing. I kind of want to skip over that. I really don't want to talk about it. I don't have enough information and this and that. I know that there's stuff that's out there right now, but maybe we'll talk about it on the live show on Tuesday Night Lives. We do our show, so don't miss it. 9:30 Eastern time on Tuesday night, so don't miss it. But there was this one last thing, John. You got time?
No, I want to say something about the Conor McGregor thing now.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Here's what I want to say. No, I'm not. This is nothing. Innocent, guilty, any of it. I hope other fighters look and learn from this that there's consequences to everything, even when you don't. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm not saying he didn't do something. I don't know. I wasn't there, but from what it looks like, you're in that position. You put yourself in that position for someone to be able to attack you and to put you now where you're at. You gave them that ability. learn. If you're not Connor and you're someone, learn. Man, there's reasons why you got to understand, hey, I don't do these things. Connor's got kids. He's got a beautiful fiance. That's who he should be going home to. And he wouldn't be in these positions. That's all I'm going to say.
You have to know that these people, whether you're a female fighter, and there's males out there that will do this, and there's females that are out there, like, let me just put it to you this way. I've got two friends that play in the NBA, and when they were rookies and they came into the league, the NBA handed them a binder full of women that have been known to exploit or have tried to exploit basketball players or other professional athletes that people know of. They make their rounds. And so if that being said, why take the chance? Like, it doesn't, like, especially when you have kids, fiance, wife, whatever it is, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I'm not going to pitch on either side of whatever it is. I'm just simply going to say that it's one of those things where he put himself in the situation, but he could have avoided it. And it's a shit position. I wanted to do this one last thing with the John Jones thing. There's a lot of talk on, John Jones in this fight with Tom Aspinall, but there was this video going around. I wanted to play real quick here.
Ever be a John Jones Aspinall fight? Right?
More than likely, no. I think the only way that we do it is if Dana and Hunter give me a check that really changes my mind.
And then Turk walks in.
Holding Dana's hand. That's awesome.
John Jones asking for that money, man. Give me that check.
He wants that bag.
So
he wants that bag.
I need a hero.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you, I whether that fight happens or not, I do think it's going to happen.
Okay.
And I think John has worked himself into that position where he can do this. He has the ability. If he doesn't get the fight, okay. If you guys want to see the fight, I'll do the fight, but you're going to have to pay me. And I mean, pay me. Okay. He's worked himself into that. He can ask for this kind of fuck you money, and they can either pay it or they don't. But right now he's sitting there as their champion. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. And if you want to just let it sit there, he'll sit there. He's got money. He's okay. But you want to see this fight that everyone supposedly wants to see? You want to make money off of it? Well, I want to make money off of it too. I don't blame him.
They don't have a legacy fighter right now outside of John Jones. He's the only guy right now in the promotion that can demand this type of request and potentially get it. And there's no bigger fight to make than the Tom Aspinall and John Jones fight. I think maybe the Alex Pereira fight would probably be bigger, but the reason why I say maybe it won't is that people think that John's just going to take him down and destroy him.
Yes,
may potentially happen.
Yeah, I disagree with you in the fact that I think people that fight would be bigger. I think more people believe John would beat Alex based upon he's going to take him down
absolutely
and maul him. Okay, he's not going to stand with him. John's not stupid.
No,
but with Aspinall, I think people actually believe Tom Aspinall has a good chance of beating John, and that is what intrigues them.
True.
No one has done it, and I believe this guy can. And so when they say I believe this guy can, now it opens it up to where there's a lot of people who want to see that fight. They can make a lot of money off of that fight. I think it's a huge fight. I think it would be the biggest John Jones fight there ever was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing if what's his name? Turkey Al-Sheikh brings up the money.
Hey.
If he brings out that checkbook, baby.
John has been there with Turk before, so they know each other. Maybe
yes, they do. Yes, they do. Like, I think that there's those two fights are big fights. I'm leaning more towards the direction of you of saying that, look, the Aspinall fight to me as a hardcore fan, it actually intrigues me a lot more.
It's more intriguing.
But I think more casual fans know who Alex Pereira is. And so I think they'll get more of a boost if he fights Alex because more casual fans know who Alex is. Not as many know who Alex or as Tom Aspinall is. But that being said, Tom has a whole country behind him.
I was gonna say there's a whole lot of guys in the UK that know who Tom Aspinall is.
This is very true. I get it, but I'm saying casuals, American casuals, Canadian casuals, they know more about Alex because Alex has stepped up on short notice. Alex has had highlight reel knockouts. Alex is 2-division champion. Like he's done a lot in his 12-fight career, in his 12-fight MMA career. I don't even know if it's that many fights, to be honest. He's phenomenal. Tom Aspinall still is making that run up there. But at heavyweight, it just makes it very interesting for us, hardcore people. We understand that the better and the harder fight for John Jones is Tom Aspinall because of the sheer size, the ability, and the athleticism of Tom Aspinall for a heavyweight, the ability to actually hit submissions from his back and also control the top position, his physical strength and size, his speed on the feet, his knockout power, all of those things pose threats for John Jones. Alex Mejia's got knockout power on the feet. And he's physically probably about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than John. But when it comes to the actual fight IQ and fight abilities, John's better than him, I think, in a lot of those areas. John's fight IQ is probably second to none. I think John's reach is going to be an advantage for him. John's wrestling is definitely going to be the advantage. John's submission is going to be the advantage. On the feet, in terms of striking, Alex probably got the better and the more knockout power, I think. But can he get to John's? Can he get to John's chin? In that reach and that range that John's been so successful for all those years of just putting his hand on your forehead and keeping you away like a little brother. Yeah. And he may be able to do that to Alex. So I'm with you on the Tom Aspinall fight being the better fight. But I think the casual fan may go, oh, but I've heard of Alex. I don't even know who this Tom guy is. Who is he? What weight does he?
Who the hell has not heard of who Tom Aspinall is?
John.
Come on.
You're mistaken.
Come on.
You're mistaken. If I was to walk into a room with Halle Berry and say, hey, do you know who Tom Aspinall is? She's like, who? If I was to say, hey, Alex Mejia, she goes, oh, Poetan, yes. Like she would probably know the move.
Hold on. Halle Berry would know who Tom Aspinall is too.
You think so?
Yeah, because she got into MMA, so she would know.
John, you're a true believer. I love it.
I'm a believer.
I love it. All right, hey guys, that's going to wrap up our show. This show is brought to you by BetUS, OnlyFans, and Element. Use the link in the descriptions down below for Element. Pick up a free package with every bonus or every purchase you get through our link, as well as YouTube 150 for BetUS. I want to thank you guys so much. Subscribe to us over to OnlyFans. It is free. John, take us away, buddy.
For everyone out there, I want to say one thing real quick. My wife has put up with me for 40 years. It's my anniversary tomorrow. That's why we're doing this podcast right now. So to my wife, thank you for the 40 years. I know I've been a pain in the ass, but you've been fantastic. For everyone out there, I hope you have as much luck as I've had. We will see you.
Strong woman, 40 years. Good job, Miss McCarthy.
Crazy.